Hello students, in previous class we have discussed about the nervous system, that the smallest structural and functional unit of our nervous system is neuron, and we studied all the parts of neuron, then types of different types of neuron, sensory neuron, motor neuron and mixed neuron. Now in today's class we will study about synapse. So let's get started. Synapse is a junction or the connection between two neurons, because neuron, what is the role of neuron is to transmit or to conduct the message from the sense organ to the brain, from the brain again to the effectors. Effector means muscles and glands. So this is the function of the different types of neuron. They have to conduct messages very quickly, that's why they are very long, and they are considered to be the longest cell of the human body. So let's try to understand what is the role of synapse. So as I told you, synapse is the connection or the junction between two neurons. You can see here, this is one of the axon terminal, okay, end point of one of the neuron, and this is the starting point of the another nearby neuron. So you can see this was the axon ends up into axon terminal, and you can see how beautifully in this picture it has been shown that axon terminal is having a close association with the dendrite of the next neuron. So this blue colored neuron is the next nearby neuron, and it has got a close connection with the axon of the first neuron. So this is neuron number 1 showing in red color, this is neuron number 2, and you can see how they are in close connection. And what is the purpose of this close connection? So that they can transmit the messages which are flowing in them very quickly. So that is the role of synapse. Synapse is a junction or a gap. It's not, they are not so closely they are not so closely held together. There is a gap which is present between, but it is not shown here in this picture. I am going to show you in next slide that synapse is a connection or a gap which is present between two neuron, and through this gap then messages are sent. So this synapse helps in the faster conduction of the message or the nerve impulse. Messages properly, if it is said, we say it as nerve impulse. Either you say nerve impulse or electric impulse, one and same thing. Okay, now next is your, this picture is showing a close view of the synapse. You can see in this picture that this one is the one of the knob of axon terminal. Okay, so this is a broader picture, magnified picture, and this is the part of a dendrite of the next neuron. Okay, so next neuron, this is the dendrite, and this is the axon terminal part, axon knob. So now see here, it has got in the axon, we have got many synaptic vesicles which are filled with many chemicals, and the moment this is the synapse, the gap between two neuron. Now see, when the message is coming, it comes in the form of electric impulse. When the message comes from the sense organ, the sensory neurons has taken the message and they are transmitting the message. It comes or it flows as a electric impulse. It is moving very quickly as electricity within the neuron. Then it moves, this message moves out in the form of a chemical. Now it is called chemical impulse. Okay, some chemicals are there, neurotransmitters. These are chemicals are called neurotransmitter. Then how the next second neuron will detect that some kind of message is there which is being sent by the first neuron? So we are having some receptors which are present over here. So these are the receptors present on the dendrite of, or we can say chemoreceptors, which are present on the dendrite of the second neuron, and they just receive these chemicals, and now when the message moves ahead, it moves in the form of electric impulse or nerve impulse. So here is the role of chemical which is released here, and these chemicals are detected. Now the message is in the form of chemical here in synapse, and this message will be decoded by the receptors which are present on the dendrites of the second neuron, which is just nearby the first neuron. So this is how they convey the message. This is how the message is being conveyed from first neuron to second with the help of the synapse. So synapse is very important connecting link between two neurons, and in this the message comes down in the form of electric impulse. Then now the message has to go to next neuron, but it can't move directly, so it moves in the form of chemicals, means it releases chemicals. Then chemicals are filled here in the this region that is called synapse, and there are some receptors which are present over the dendrites, and they receive those chemicals. They can sense those chemicals, and then the chemical flow, it receives the chemical, and now the chemical moves ahead in the form of the message in the next neuron. Same thing happened when this second neuron will get over, and there will be a close connection next time. So same thing will happen again. So this is how, because of the synapse, the messages run from one neuron to another neuron, and because of synapse the messages run very quickly. That's why there is fast conduction of nerve impulse, very fast conduction of nerve impulse. Two reasons are there. First is the presence of this synapse, and second is the presence of the node of Ranvier. So this is node of Ranvier. I am going to show you. So nerve impulse or the message moves faster in case of neuron because of two reasons. That first reason is the presence of synapse, which is present here. That is the junction between neuron 1 and neuron 2, that synapse, and neuron helps in the faster conduction because of second reason, and second reason is the presence of node of Ranvier. This node of Ranvier is also very important because when the nerve impulse passes, it passes like this, and these nodes are very important for faster conduction. And one more reason is there, third, that is presence of myelin sheath. If myelin sheath is present and the neuron is myelinated neuron, then the nerve impulse will be fastest. Okay, so three reasons are there for fast conduction of nerve impulse. Number one, presence of synapse. Number two, presence of node of Ranvier, and third is presence of myelin sheath. Myelin sheath provides protection as well as it helps in faster conduction of the message or nerve impulse. Now as I told you that there are some receptors which are present on the dendrites. So what are the names of receptors? Because there are different stimulus which are present in our environment, so obviously there will be different receptors to receive them. Okay, so receptors are present over the dendrites to receive the stimulus. And first receptor will be photoreceptor to detect light. Some receptors are gustatoreceptors which detect taste. Some are thermoreceptors to detect temperature. Then we have got olfactory receptors which are present in the nose to check out the smell. Then phonoreceptors which is present in the ears, because we have got 5 sense organs, and in these 5 sense organs we have got different receptors. Then chemoreceptors for detecting taste and touch. So these are the different receptors present in our body. You can learn their name, and in this flow chart you can get a very nice idea about the receptors as the sense organs. Here you can see first one is your which is present in ear, that is phonoreceptor. O will come here. Phonoreceptors which is present in ear. Ear is a sense organ, so ear will be having this kind of receptors to receive this stimulus. And what is the stimulus here? That is the sound. Then here next receptor is your photoreceptor to receive the visual stimulus, light, and this is present in which sense organ? Eyes. Then we have got thermoreceptors which is present over the skin. On skin we are having many, like we can get the feeling of touch, heat, coldness, pain, etc. So they are called thermoreceptors. Then we have got olfactory receptors, which is present over the nose, and it detect the smell. So here smell will be the stimulus. Then gustatory receptors, they are present over tongue, and what will be the stimulus for them? Taste. Okay, now in human body, because we have to read control and coordination in animals plus control and coordination in plants both, so we can study here that control and coordination in case of animals is going to be little complicated, because we are having nervous system for control and coordination, and not only nervous system, we have got another system, that is endocrine system. So these two systems are very important for control and coordination in animals, because if you see in case of plants, they don't have nervous system, they have got only hormone system. Okay, so endocrine system is a hormone system. The plants, they don't have the nervous system, but they have only the phytohormones. So thank you very much. Revise well and watch the video twice. Thank you.